So tonight I thought I would talk about, after you've all been sitting here all day. Of course, I've been taking a nap all day, so. And I guess I was going to talk a little bit about kind of different kinds of polarities that we deal with, and the, you might say, the difficulty that we have with those. One of them is hope and fear. Hope things are going to get better, fear that they're not going to get better. Hope and fear is a good one. But there's all kinds of dualities or combinations, getting better, getting worse, feeling better, feeling worse. And it seems like instead of just relating to that as it is, we want to jump on one side or the other, or justify, condemn, side with something. And something about that helps us feel like we're doing something valuable. At least we're trying to do something. So it's very difficult when, you might say, it's difficult to just, as is being recommended here, is to just sit and observe what happens moment by moment. Not meddle with it, not do anything with it. And as I think we were talking a little bit earlier about the whole idea of hope, and hope is always kind of a bothersome word. Hope for just things are going to get better. We just hope, hope. Now, what kind of energy is that anyway? What is the energy of hope? It's like some kind of valid expectation or something like that. Because if you say you have to have hope, very seldom people will say, no, you don't. Because if you were to say that, then it would be well, it's so negative, you're not. You need to have, hope. Like I was saying, it was at Amy Goodman on Democracy Now! Quite often when she's interviewing someone, say, even like I think I was mentioning Noam Chomsky, but it could be anyone on there. Well, what gives you hope? And it sounds like a valid thing to ask someone. What gives you hope? And I've never seen anyone yet who didn't jump right on board and kind of think of something positive off in the future and mumble something about that, seem to fill the bill. So I think it might be kind of a standard question for her. What gives you hope? Whereas these teachings, you're more likely to hear someone, especially a teacher, in particular my first teacher, Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, talk about hopelessness. And the actual, you might say, validity from the practitioner's point of view of actually allowing that kind of feeling or energy, or lack of energy, that designation, that feeling to just be there without much happening other than feels hopeless. Not really doing anything with that. Not endorsing that. In other words, not turning it up or validating it, agreeing with it, or disagreeing or doing anything. It's a very nuanced, you might say, situation of allowing something to be exactly what it is. In fact, if you're allowing something to be exactly what it is, here again, all we've got is concepts to talk about. So this is, I could point out the moon. We'll all go out and look at the moon. I'll point at the moon. We could all point at the moon. But the idea of a nuance is that there's an area in there where if you're in that, if you have a connection with it from the point of view of not trying to suck it dry for its meaning or pump it full of what you think its meaning is, which is kind of supercharged manipulation of things, trying to get some kind of a reference point. We just can't hardly stand to not know. It's either got to be positive, negative, hope or fear, this or that, up and down, back and forth. Subjective, objective. We're constantly reinforcing our separation by kind of chattering to ourselves about that. Have you noticed? I mean, when we're sitting here, it may be kind of uneventful to some extent, but there's always a time when it seems like we get on some kind of train of thought, streetcar of thought, or we're going to some kind of a meaning about something. We're about to get some kind of information or some kind of indictment, analysis of whatever's arising, whether we originally termed it hopelessness or fear or hope. And you can spend a lot of time going down those tracks, those rabbit holes, those positions. Some people spend their whole lives doing that and then writing a book about that and then finding a really good title, and then people read that and share it with others. Or else say it's a terrible book. Whatever. And so we're all kind of writing a book, kind of keeping track. Quite often people will write notes on how their meditation is going, evaluating the meditation. Good meditation, not a good meditation, pretty bad meditation. And what's being suggested here is don't do that. And when I say don't do that, I'm saying that insofar as the knee-jerk evaluation, you can't particularly stop, but you can become aware of that, and you can see that when you get off the cushion, there's just this kind of a plus or minus feeling about that situation. It's kind of interesting how we use that analysis to somehow give us a reference point or validate something, or praise or blame kind of thing, more polarity. So it seems to be very difficult for us, even though we understand it conceptually. Some of us can talk about it at length and write books on non-dual, not this, not that, not too much of this, not too much of that. How but to actually realize what that is to actually, you might say, go beyond the concept. And when we do that, the feeling of going beyond the conceptual dynamics of anything is frightening from the point of view of self-centeredness, narcissism, ego, the me feeling, however we want to talk about it. It's frightening because we begin to just feel like we just don't know anything. And so then we start to maybe even get a little embarrassed. What if somebody asks us something? We won't know. Or what if we have to sit up here and talk? We won't know. So what is being suggested or encouraged is on the cushion when we're sitting is to continually return to something that's actually, you might say, in the present. How the body feels, how the breath feels, some kind of stabilization, you might say, a relative kind of word, but some kind of just being here. Not even some kind, a kind, the practice or feeling or quality of being present. By doing that over time, it seems that that this type of clarity, observing, starts to show up in our everyday activity in our life, the areas where we're usually pushing, pulling, judging. This is a challenging area because this, in our everyday life, is the area where we try to control what's going on. We try to